Hello and welcome back to Easyweb tutorials. Today Niklas, Klaus and I have a short little video for you where we will go through a few of the different global keys that Easyweb holds and that you can access via the framework. So we are here in the coworkers.cshtml file, and we can also navigate to one specific coworker on our site. So we'll go and click the coworkers in the header. And we can just open one of the alternatives here. So here is me, Oscar. And here you can see this is how the content for this coworker item is rendered. But we can also access the keys from the module, for instance, on this item. So if Niklas here in the bottom of the file creates a new p tag, and in this p tag, Niklas can create an ewe4 tag helper. And let's say now, for instance, that we want to access the label of our module, which this view is in. So to access that label, we can type $sign and then module. And then we can say /$ label. So with this key, we'll be able to access the label from our module, which this particular view is contained in. So here, if we reload our page, we can see that we get the label from our coworkers module. And the slash, that is for maybe if you're a developer who see things in a catalog style or folder style of tree structure, then you can use the slash, but we also support use of a dot. So if you're more like you see the different keys and different contents as objects, the dot is also a viable way of fetching these contents and these texts in this instance. So here, when we use the dot, we can see that it still works when we reload our page. And we can go into Easyweb and into our coworkers module in the content management. And here we can create a folder. So if we want to divide up our contents, let's say we have a few thousand coworkers, maybe we want to place them in folders. So we can create a folder and we can name it, for instance, administrative employees. And then we'll create this folder. And now we have a folder here which we can put some of our coworkers' articles in. So maybe we'll put Niklas into the administrative employees folder. So he can move this page into that folder, and we'll see that it gets moved into there. Now, if we go to our site again, and if we add another p tag here in the code below the first one, we can set it up exactly the same, but instead we can use the key $sign folder .label. $label. And here we can see now that we get two of the same texts just below each other. And that is because since we didn't put the Oscar article inside our new folder, it will think that the module is the folder. So if it's if an article lies directly in the module, then the module will be considered that article's folder. But if we go back to our coworkers archive, so if we click coworkers in the header, we can see that now we're actually missing Niklas, who we put in that specific folder. And that is a setting that we can control in Easyweb. So we'll go to Easyweb. And here we are in the studio. And in the studio, we are in the module view of the coworkers module. So here we can click up the options for the coworkers list. And here on the common subtitle, yeah, there we have common. And here, if you remember, this is where we selected which module we're going to loop out articles from. And here there's a little checkbox for include articles from subfolders. So if we check this checkbox and then click OK and save our view, and now we reload our page, we can see that now Niklas shows up because we're including articles that are in subfolders. And if we now click on Niklas here, we can see that the p tag for the module label shows up, and on Niklas here we can also see the label from the specific folder that this article is part of. We can render out the label from that folder. We also have global keys to access properties of our layout view, for instance. So in Easyweb here, if we go to Easyweb and in the studio, we can see that we have a few global views. And one of those views is the layout view. So if we click on the layout view, we can see that here is where we have the components for our header and the main menu and the footer. And we also have a component for our logo for the website. So with the key logo type. And this key is just now not used. So we can actually go into the pages module. And here on default pages, we can select our layout view. And we can add a logo to our header. And here we can just draw in a picture from our laptop or computer. And we'll select that picture and save the view, and then our website will have a logo type. So if we now reload our website, we can see that we have our logo here in the top left. And now if we want to render out the logo from our layout view in this particular view, we don't have access to it since the logo is in the layout view and we are currently in a coworkers view. But we can add an image tag. And we'll use the ev4 tag helper, ev4 src. And here we can specify that we want to fetch a property or a key. We can specify a key for our layout view, which is $layout. And then dot or slash. And now you might think that we want to use $sign here too, but since if we check in the studio again, we see that this is actually a custom key and it is a component that we have in our view here, in our layout view. So we do not want to specify this with the $sign because the $sign is for global keys that are on every component, and this particular component is specific for this view. So we have $layout dot logo type. You can also use slash. And now if we reload our page, we can see that our logo type will be rendered here on this particular page without styling in this case. The last key we will use here, the last global key, is the global key for our settings on our site. So in Easyweb, we'll go back into the studio, and here under our global views, we can see we have our settings view at the bottom. And in this settings view, we can specify things that we want to have global access of in our site, or maybe things that we want to use perhaps in the JS or in the back end of our site. If we, for instance, want to have an API key for an external API, we can specify that here. But we can also specify things like perhaps opening hours. So Niklas will create a component here to specify the opening hours for our fictional corporation here. So we'll create a text box which we'll name opening hours, and we'll save the view. And now when we go to settings in the header, we can go to site settings. And here we have our custom settings. So here we can find the opening hours setting that we just created. So we'll just make something up here and we can save the custom settings. And now we can have access to this key in any view in our project by typing ev4 $sign settings. So we can create another p tag here. we'll use EWI for $settings and then dot or slash. And then we'll have the opening hours key that we just created. And now when we reload our page, we can see that our opening hours shows up here. So the settings, it's just another view that you can use to have global access of properties or content or things like that. But that'll be all for today. We thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.